Okay, good evening, all of you, and I'm sure you have very high expectations. So we'll try to, although a lot is to be done in 4 classes, that we have 4 classes, na? 5 classes we have, na? Just let you know. So actually, this whole discussion has been going on for more than 10 days, okay, related to the QRM, because we need to cover a lot in a short period of time, okay. So technically, we have 4 classes. Okay, 4 classes. One class was added by a student on the front row. So we have excluded that. Okay, so we have 4 classes and we have the PPT ready. The team was working for 10 days. Okay, so I'll try to cover and. That is what I can say. One important thing, I know that many of you are taking prelims, so it is exceptionally important and I completely understand. In fact, for 2 days, I was thinking how we can have the maximum from these 4 classes. Okay. So regarding the factual aspect, if you see the just 2 minutes I'll take, if you see the pattern of question from 2021, okay, so clearly there is a clear message by UPSC that they have come out of the conventional questions. Okay, so for that matter, if you read Lakshmikant, without a shadow of doubt, it's a wonderful text. Okay, it gives you a basic understanding of the subject, but it is not doing justice to the questions. If you go through the question paper, you can easily conclude that the factual things that are stated in Lakshmikant are no more asked. Okay, are no more asked because they are asking 4 5 questions from the basic thing, but more questions are being asked from governance. More questions are being asked from governance. So those students who have been practicing papers, those students who have been reading newspapers will relatively have an edge over those. So this is something which is there. Second thing is we will try to what you call summarize in 4, which is a monumental task because so many things are required to be done. After the class, what we can do, I can stay here for some 1 hour or so. You can ask questions, you can note down, because during the conversation I would love to take questions, but I also have the paucity of time. Okay, that has to be understood. So in the what all topics we will have in this class, that has been also decided, and we have huge discussion over this. Okay. So we will see basic concepts, evolution of the constitution, preamble, union and its territory, citizenship, fundamental rights part 1 and part 2. Matlab some fundamental rights we will do. Okay, and so let's start. I have the, because in this the now basic concept about constitution and constitution, we will have the PPT over here. It will take 2 to 3 minutes because okay, so first, what related to the concept of constitution. So basic question, what kind of questions have been asked by the UPSC related to constitution? So definition of constitution, these all things they have not asked. So what is constitution? Constitution is the fundamental law of the land. The two important things that can be said about the constitution is rule book of the nation, establishes the organs of the state. Thik hai, these are conventional lines. But two important thing about the constitution is, one, constitution is the fundamental law of the land, and it reflects the ideology and philosophy of the nation. For example, if you see the Constitution of United States of America, if you will see the Constitution of America, the Constitution of America is only 19 pages. Or if you see the Lasite law of France of 1958, or you see any other Western constitution, they are not that bulky a document. So usually most of the things are decided by the legislature. The constitution hardly gives a framework. But one thing that is common among all the constitutions of the world, that is constitution reflects the ideology and philosophy of the nation. For example, if you have, you have that Donald, I just give an example, that Donald Trump made a Facebook post. He said that if he is from Republican Party, we all know that, and Democrats are in opposition. So he said that if Democrats come to power, they will make America a socialist state. He wrote a Facebook post that if Democrats come to power, they will make America a socialist state. It means that socialism is seen in bad light in America, while it is an important component in our constitution. Although there is a debate to what extent we have retreated from socialism, but still the term socialist is in preamble, and socialist principles can be found in DPSP. So the most important task of the constitution is to reflect the ideology and philosophy of the nation. What kind of India was dreamt by the founding mothers and fathers in the Constituent Assembly? We are secular, not because we are culture, the beautiful unity in diversity that is there. No, that is of course there without a shadow of doubt, but that also has to be written in the Constitution. So उस चीज को Constitution में mention. So we are secular, we are sovereign, we are republic, we have democratic form of government, and republican character of Indian state comes from the Constitution. What kind of India was envisaged by the Constituent Assembly? What kind of India was dreamt by the founding mothers and fathers in the Constituent Assembly is reflected in the Constitution. So what is Constitution? Constitution reflects the ideology and philosophy of the nation. It is the fundamental law of the land. Why do we say Constitution is the fundamental law of the land? We always say Constitution is the fundamental law of the land because all other laws are subservient to the Constitution. All other laws are subservient to the Constitution. They are in reverence to the Constitution. For example, if there is a law that was made before the advent of Constitution, for example, we have any law, that is Section 124A of IPC, Section 124A of Indian Penal Code, which has been put to pause by the Supreme Court. Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code has been put to pause by the Supreme Court. No new case will be registered under Section 124A of IPC till the time Supreme Court examines the constitutionality of Section 124A, that is sedition. So all the pre-constitutional laws and all the post-constitutional laws must be in harmony with the Constitution. Now, may be possible that some of you do not know much about it. So we see Constitution and constitutionalism. I'll discuss that. I'll add constitutional morality by myself. Okay. I cannot dictate. We don't have time. Okay. So the point is, so first of all, we had laws before the advent of Constitution. So you all have heard about Indian Penal Code, and you also have heard about Code of Criminal Procedure. First, let me give you a basic idea that what is IPC. For example, X committed a theft. For example, you gave 1 kg gold to your servant. You gave 1 kg gold to your servant, or 250 grams of gold to your servant. You give 250 grams of gold to your servant that you keep this gold. And after a while, he ran away with the gold. You ran away with the gold. So what will you call it? You will call it a theft. It is not theft, it is breach of trust. It cannot be called, no case will be registered under Section 379 of IPC. Now, why I'm bringing this over here? Because what is the job of IPC? The job of IPC is to define the offense and prescribe punishment for that. You think theft or I think theft is not theft. Theft is as it is defined in IPC. So IPC 375 defines rape, 376 prescribed punishment for rape. IPC 499 defines defamation, 500 prescribed punishment for defamation. IPC 299 defines murder, 302 prescribes punishment for murder. So what is the job? Any offense will not be an offense in the way it is interpreted by you or me. It will be an offense only if it is decided by the law. So there were offense committed even before the advent of the Constitution. So what is the purpose of IPC? The purpose of IPC is two. One, to define the offense and prescribe punishment for that offense. What is sedition? You and me think something to be sedition is not sedition. Sedition is as it is defined in Section 124A. So what is the job of IPC? Job of IPC is to define an offense and prescribe punishment for that offense. So for example, X committed theft. In genuine X committed theft. So what is theft is defined there, and what is the punishment for theft will be defined in the IPC. What is CRPC? What is CRPC? How X will be produced, how X will be arrested, whether he will give a statement before police, Section 1, or magistrate, Section 164 and Section 161, whether X will get bail, Section 434 to 438 of CRPC, whether X will be, how the X will be convicted, how the X will be put to trial, what will be the procedure that will be followed in the court, whether X will be, how the entire procedure to be followed in the court is in CRPC. So what is the difference between CRPC and IPC? CRPC is Code of Criminal Procedure. What procedure is to be followed in the court is given in CRPC. What is the offense and what is the punishment for that offense is given in IPC. So IPC 299 defines murder is a homicide. Murder is not a crime. For example, insecticide, pesticide, suicide, fratricide, matricide. So there are so many sides. Side mean killing. So an mosquito killing a human being, or insect being killed, or fratricide, matricide, suicide, only homicide is an offense. That is human killing human. Human killing human. So killing is not an offense, it is homicide. So everything has to be decided and defined in the way how it is given in the law. You and me think something, it will not go. So what is the job of IPC? IPC का काम क्या है? किसी भी offense को define करना. और for example marital rape, all of us hear about marital rape. What is the issue about? It is the issue that IPC 375 defines rape. IPC 375 defines rape. नीचे explanation में जोड़ दिया except husband. Down the line they accept this exception given to the husband is being challenged in Supreme Court as a violation of women's right to live with dignity under Article 21, as an arbitrariness under Article 14, principle of reasonableness, that is violation of Article 14 and Article 21. So what is the purpose of IPC? Purpose of IPC is to define the offense, and purpose of CRPC is to prescribe the purpose of IPC is to define offense and prescribe the punishment. Purpose of CRPC is to what procedure is to be followed in the court. How X will be arrested, how X will be produced before judge, whether a statement will be recorded before police, section 161, whether a statement will be recorded before magistrate, section 164, whether X will get anticipatory bail, section 438, whether X will get regular bail, section 434. The entire procedure to be followed in the court in a criminal case is called as Code of Criminal Procedure. An entire procedure to be followed in the case in civil case is called as Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So there are pre-constitutional laws and there are post-constitutional laws, dear students. What is a pre-constitutional law? All those laws that have come before the constitution are called as, जैसे Land Acquisition Act 1894, जैसे says Code of Criminal Procedure, although it was there, it was reformed in 1973, there were before also, जैसे Civil Code of Civil Procedure 1908, Industrial Dispute Act 1947, Indian Penal Code 1960. All these are examples of प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉज. हर वो लॉ जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के आने से पहले आया है. एनी लॉ दैट हैज कम बिफोर द एडवेंट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज कॉल्ड एज प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ. एनी लॉ दैट हैज कम आफ्टर द एडवेंट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज कॉल्ड एज, जैसे आरबीआई एक्ट 1934 अ प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ, इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट 1947 अ प्री constitutional law, Code of Civil Procedure 1908 a pre-constitutional law, Indian Penal Code 1860 a pre-constitutional law, Government of India Act 1935 a pre-constitutional law, Central Vigilance Commission Act, Securities Exchange Board of India Act, you have Lokpal and Lokayukt Act, Right to Information Act, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, Protection of Human Rights Act, National Commission for Backward Classes Act. Getting my point? All these are or Companies Act. All these are examples of post-constitutional law. So when I say constitution is the fundamental law of the land, when I say constitution is the fundamental law of the land, it means all laws are subservient to the constitution, because constitution is the fundamental law. All these laws must be in harmony with the constitution, else they will be declared as unconstitutional. So what is the definition of constitution? There are two things. First, constitution reflects the ideology and philosophy. India is a democracy not because you and me think. India is a democracy because democratic character of Indian state is reflected in the constitution. India has a parliamentary form of government not because you and me think, because Article 79 of the Constitution says that there shall be a parliament consisting of President, Council of States and House of People, and Article 75 clause 3 says that the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to House of People, and Article 74 says that the President shall act on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. So what is the job? So we may be having a presidential form of government, but we are having a parliamentary form. Why we are having a parliamentary form? Because it is given in the Constitution. Article 52 of the Constitution, there shall be a President of India. Article 54 of the Constitution, Electoral College of the President. Republican character of Indian state is given in the Constitution. Republican character of Indian state is given in the Constitution. We are secular not because that undoubtedly, India is an unparalleled diversity. Nowhere in the world you will find such diversity. India, US, Canada, and Australia are said to be land of multiculturalism. In them also, India has a genuine diversity that is thousands and thousands of years back. So that is the strength of India. But the idea of secularism is not emanating from our cultural history. Or to give it a legal clothing, you must have Article 25 of the Constitution, which says all persons are equally entitled to freedom of conscience, profess, practice, and propagate. Article 26, you have the right to establish religious institutions of your choice. Article 27, no person shall be compelled to pay taxes for the promotion of any particular religion. So the idea of secularism is coming from the Constitution. Idea of republicanism is coming from the Constitution. Idea of parliamentary form of government is coming from the Constitution. Democratic spirit, Article 326 of the Constitution, universal adult suffrage, is coming from the Constitution. So what is the job of Constitution? It may have rules, may not have rules. It may have rules or may not have rules. Okay. Just a second. Okay, it may have rules or may not have rules. But one thing that is for sure, just a second, I'll show you something. Let's see the Constitution of Uncle Sam, United States. Okay. So, okay. If you see the Constitution of America, how many pages? Only 19 pages. And we have our beautiful Constitution, if we see, 459 pages, the document that we usually download, I think. Just a second. First class, I'll just gauge to the extent we can cover. Okay. Because technically speaking, Turant Bing wants to interfere. Okay. Okay. So, for example, we have this. Now, what has this come? Okay. So, if you have 402, okay. So, 402. So, if you see the American Constitution, it is quite a brief document, while the Constitution of India is quite a bulky document. So, it is not necessary that all the rules are written in the Constitution. But one thing that is sure, Constitution reflects the philosophy and ideology of the nation, and it is the fundamental law of the land. Fundamental law of the land means that all the other laws must be subservient to the Constitution. Constitution, for example, there are hundreds and hundreds of laws that have come before the advent of Constitution, and there are thousands of laws that have come after the advent of Constitution, but Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it is the fundamental law of the land. Okay. Now, if you see over here, now, first thing is Constitution. Now, one word which UPSC has asked, it is not here, but I will add that, which is my favorite, that is constitutional morality. In last 7 to 8 years, 3 times UPSC has asked constitutionalism, and 2 times they have asked constitutional morality. Last year, first mains question was, what do you mean by constitutional morality? Discuss Supreme Court cases related to constitutional morality. So they can ask a question from that. So first thing, what did we understand? We understood the difference between ordinary law and the Constitution. If, for example, if you enter the Central Library of University of Delhi or any central university, any library, you see there is a red book that is kept right in the middle, and there are thousands of books that are kept in the shelf. Thousands of books kept in the shelf may have come after the red book or may have come before the red book. But the red book is the main book. All the books in the shelf must be according to the red book, else they will be thrown out of library. So you must find distinction between ordinary law and the there are thousands of ordinary laws, but there is only one Constitution. Ordinary laws must be according to the Constitution. Constitution must not be according to the ordinary laws. So you got that? So difference between, and what is the difference between ordinary law and Constitution while discussion? Whenever we say Constitution, we will say Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, Article 4. Ordinary laws, we name them. They always have a name. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, Securities Exchange Board of India, Protection of Human Rights Act, National Commission for Backward Classes Act, which has been repealed. Then you have Right to Information Act, Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act, Industrial Dispute Act, Right to Recompensation, Resettlement, Fair Compensation Act, Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act. All these laws have a name. So never get confused between an ordinary law and the constitution. There is only one constitution, but there are hundreds and hundreds of ordinary laws. So what is the basic difference of the constitution? Constitution is the fundamental law of the land, and it reflects the ideology and philosophy of the nation. You can add something. It also establishes the organs of the state. Not necessarily in case of all the countries, you will have all the institutions find reflection in the constitution. First thing. Second thing, what is the difference? This basic, what is the difference between a constitutional body, a statutory body, or an executive body? Any body that is existing from the constitution is a constitutional body. जैसे आर्टिकल 338 नेशनल कमीशन फॉर शेड्यूल कास्ट, आर्टिकल 338A नेशनल कमीशन फॉर शेड्यूल ट्राइब, आर्टिकल 338B नेशनल कमीशन फॉर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस, आर्टिकल 324 इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, आर्टिकल 280 फाइनेंस कमीशन. So those bodies that come from the constitution are constitutional bodies. Those bodies that come from ordinary law are statutory bodies. जैसे सेंट्रल इंफॉर्मेशन कमीशन, राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन एक्ट, नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ ह्यूमन राइट्स एक्ट, नेशनल कमीशन फॉर माइनॉरिटीज, National Commission for Minorities Act, National Commission for Minority Educational Institution, National Commission for Minority Educational Institution Act 2004. So anybody that is coming from an ordinary law is called as a statutory body. Anybody that is coming from constitution is a, but there are extra constitutional non-statutory bodies. They neither come from constitution, not from ordinary law. Niti Aayog, 1st January 2015 cabinet resolution, Law Commission of India. These bodies neither come from the constitution, nor come from an ordinary law. So they are called as executive or extra constitutional non-statutory bodies. Now the second term, first we'll see constitutionalism and then we will see constitutional morality. Okay. 3 times UPSC has asked since 2013-14, constitutionalism. Okay. Abraham Lincoln said that nearly all men can stand adversity. Nearly all men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. What is power? Power is the ability to control someone else's decision. Power, Joseph Nye defines power as the ability to control someone else's decision. You are moving out of your house, your mother started crying. Now this is an emotional power. You do not have money, you take money from someone else. That is an economic way of controlling you. So what is power? The ability to control someone else's decision. Now, all men can stand adversity. If you want to test a man's character, give him power. This was said by Abraham Lincoln. Democracies cannot survive. The biggest threat to democracy is unlimited government. Any unlimited government is a direct threat to democracy. Constitutionalism, in one word in the world, can replace constitutionalism, that is limited government. Before the exam only I said, if they are asking a question on constitutionalism, just look for the term limited government. In the 4 options that has been provided by UPSC, in option 2, both the times, they have mentioned the term limited government. So why the government should be limited? Why the government should be limited? An unlimited government is a threat to democracy. An unlimited government is, what is constitutionalism? Now we'll take the definition given by Chatur Ramalingam, that official definition. He says the machine is jacketed, non-jacketed, sometimes touch. Okay, so what is constitutionalism? Limitations on general governmental powers so as to prevent the exercise of arbitrary decision making. I'm again repeating, there should be limitations on general governmental powers to prevent the exercise of arbitrary decision making. Believe me, these all topics, constitutionalism itself is a 2-hour topic. But I am myself trying to confine it in a very short. This class has been organized after meticulous discussion, because this is the time we are having QRM where we have to cover everything in. He says in that movie, Phas Gaye Re, ye Obama, he says ki आराम से बेटा, आराम से. You take your time, but थोड़ा जल्दी. So you take your time, but be in a hurry. That is what I am doing. Okay. So constitutionalism means limited government. So power, Lord Acton said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Democracy is, now please understand, election is just an important component of democracy. Election is not an end to democracy, just an important component of democracy. Democracy is a daily plebiscite. A Western scholar has said, I actually don't remember the name, I read many years back, democracy is a daily plebiscite. It is a daily plebiscite. Every single day, government should be accountable to the people for its actions. So what is democracy? Democracy is a daily plebiscite. So let's go into the history of fundamental rights. Now you will understand. If you see the language of fundamental rights, let's compare it with the language of DPSP. So in fundamental rights, it is not that they are giving you something positive. Most of the fundamental rights are negative in nature. So Article 14 says, no person shall be denied equality before law and equal protection of laws within the territory of India. Although equal protection of laws has a positive connotation, but mainly it is prohibiting the state from denying equality before law. Article 15 says, clause 1, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. And then you have 2, 3, 4, 2, denial of entry in hotels and all 3. Nothing shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children. 4 was added by First Constitutional Amendment Act. Article 16, clause 2, in public employment, there will not be a discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth, place of residence, and domicile. Article 17, untouchability is abolished and practice in any form is forbidden. Article 18, clause 1, Indian state shall not award any title. So most of the fundamental rights are negative. You see DPSPs. Article 39A, operation of legal system should promote justice. Article 40, the state shall take steps to organize village panchayats. Article 41, provide them right to work and support them in cases of old age and undeserved want. Article 42, give them maternity relief. Article 43, give them living wage. Give them living wage. Article 44, establish uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Article 45, early childhood care and education. Article 46, take care of SC, ST and weaker sections. Article 47, take care of public health. Most of the DPSPs are positive in nature. Most of the fundamental rights are negative in nature. Fundamental rights they are trying to say that don't do this. DPSPs they are trying to say do this. So fundamental, now I will give you, let's go to the history of America. 4th March 1788, when American Constitution when American Constitution was open for ratification, in fact it was ratified. Okay, so when American Constitution was open for ratification, so there was no fundamental rights in American Constitution. There was no fundamental rights in American Constitution. In the original Constitution that was drafted by the founding mothers and fathers of America, they did not incorporate fundamental rights. Now, there was a set of scholars, they were called Federalist Papers. Two group of scholars were there, Federalist and non-Federalist. They started writing articles in newspaper and journals that this Constitution is giving too much power to the government. This Constitution is giving too much power to the government that it will trample upon the rights of the people. So as a matter of compromise between Federalist and non-Federalist, constitutional amendments were added in US Constitution. Now you see the language of fundamental rights in American Constitution, which were added later. Then we will come to constitutionalism. So it says, Congress means to get together. This class is also a Congress. Congress term has come from congregation, and congregation means coming together. Indian Science Congress. Every year, Government of India celebrates Indian Science Congress. Congress means getting together. So their parliament is called as Congress. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise or abridging freedom of speech. So actually, the fundamental rights are not giving anything. They are asking the state not to do. So fundamental rights are not empowering the citizens. Mainly they are restricting the state. So fundamental rights are, so they promote a limited government. So they promote constitutionalism. What is constitutionalism? Means there should be a limited government in this gate. If the unlimited government will enter from this gate, democracy will make an exit from that gate. There cannot be an unlimited government and democracy at the same time. So every single thing that restricts the power of the state is promoting constitutionalism. And the official definition is, constitutionalism is limitations on the exercise of, constitutionalism is limitations on the exercise of powers so as to avoid the arbitrary decision making. Now you are going to tell me what all things limit the power of the government. Fundamental, UPSC asked the tricky question. They asked the question, a directive principle of state policy is limitations on the power of the state. Statement 1. Second, limitations on the power of citizens. So the answer was D, neither 1 nor 2. DPSP is neither limit the state, neither limit the citizens. So UPSC is asking a tricky question from class 11th NCERT political theory. They pick these questions. Just have to be patient and just read the question very carefully. Concept is very, very important. So fundamental rights limit the power of the state. Directive principles do not limit the power of the state. Every single thing जो सरकार की शक्तियों को कम करती है, whenever I use Hindi, I'll definitely translate that in English. Every single thing that limits the power of the government, limits the power of the state is promoting constitutionalism. So fundamental rights do not ask the state to do something. There are positive fundamental rights. Article 21A. The state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children in the age group 6 to 14 years. This is not important. Next part is important. In the manner state may determine by law. So that they will not ask a question, what is Article 21A? This they will ask in lower divisional clerk. UPSC will not ask a question, what is Article 21A? If they ask a question, I will stage a dharna. Okay. Because they should not ask a question, what is Article 21A? They will ask, I say this in the class and they have asked this question also. Do you think Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act is able to incentivize school education in India? So they know that everyone knows that 6 to 14 years education, this is Article 40, as a UPSC student, 40 is the state shall take steps to organize village panchayat. If you know this, it hardly impresses me. Okay, every human being knows that Article 40 is the state shall take steps to organize village panchayat. Second part of the statement, to enable them to function as units of self-government. This is important for a UPSC aspirant. Article 50 says separation of judiciary from executive, lower divisional clerk question. Aage says, in the public services of the state, this is important for UPSC. They will not ask what is Article 40, what is Article 39A, ho gaya. 2010, they asked how many spokes are there in national flag. This was the question. Now they have moved beyond that. So the point is, from mains perspective, you must be very vigilant on these counts. Okay, coming back to this. So what is constitutionalism? Constitutionalism is limitations on the exercise of governmental powers so that there is no arbitrary decision making. Second important thing, dear students, that what all tools promote constitutionalism. Tomorrow in prelims, UPSC will ask a question, a conceptual question. Which of the following promotes constitutionalism? And Dheere says slightly they will seep in directive principles of state policy. Or they will seep in something which is not necessary. So you must understand constitutionalism is promoted by fundamental rights, because fundamental rights limit the power of the state. Just one more thing. For example, Article 19(1) of the Constitution says, 19(1), all the citizens shall have A, freedom of speech and expression, B, right to assemble peaceably without arms, C, right to form an association, union or cooperative, D, right to travel throughout the territory of India, E, right to reside and settle, F has been deleted, G, right to practice any trade, occupation, profession or business. Article 19 is only available to the citizens. So if a foreigner makes an exit from IGI airport, he cannot speak. The moment he will make an exit from IGI airport, his mouth will be put with a tape. No. So the purpose of Article 19 is not to allow you to speak. The purpose of Article 19 is to stop the state from interfering in your freedom of speech and expression. You are naturally born to speak, but the fundamental purpose of Article 19 is state should not become powerful to stop your freedom of speech and expression unreasonably. Of course, it is not, it is qualified, it is not absolute. We are not America. I always say that in America, Marbury versus Madison, a person burned the flag of USA. The landmark judgment of American Supreme Court burned the flag of USA, and American Supreme Court ruled burning the flag of USA is a part of freedom of speech and expression. Marbury versus Madison. Okay. So in India, freedom of speech and expression is limited, and there can be reasonable limitation. Now coming, so can we say fundamental rights promote constitutionalism? One thing. Second, if the parliament makes a law that anyone who will wear maroon shirt will be hanged, okay, or anyone who will wear white shirt has to pay more traffic fine. Now this law will be challenged in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will declare this law as unconstitutional. So what is this? Judicial review promotes constitutionalism. Judicial review promotes constitutionalism. Rule of law promotes constitution. believe me, the biggest example of rule of law ever in my life I have seen in Mirzapur. I don't want to, this I'm not saying to for a reel or entertainment. Honestly, he says in one of the web series, many of you may not have watched, this is the biggest, he says that everyone should be loyal to the chair. First rule is that everyone should be loyal to the chair. And second rule, he says, second rule is that chair can change the rule anytime. So there is a gang of villains. One of the villains says that everyone should be loyal to the chair. First rule. And rule 2 is that I can change the rule anytime. So rule of law there is also what is the first son of rule of law? Equality before law. There should be rule of law, and law should be equal for everyone, and it must be supreme. It must be supreme. So what is important? Rule of law, constitutionalism, judicial review, office of comptroller and auditor general. Also promotes constitutionalism. Kaise? For example, office comptroller and auditor general. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji ne kaha, he said in the Constituent Assembly, he is the most important constitutional officer. Article 148 of the Constitution. The Comptroller and Auditor General ke bare mein Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji said in the Constituent Assembly that he is the most important constitutional officer. Most important constitutional officer? So he has given independence of tenure. He will be removed in the manner similar to that of Supreme Court judge. So while he is auditing the account of central government and state government, nobody can do anything to him, because he will be removed in the manner similar to that of Supreme Court judge. And Indian Audit and Account Service officers, some of you will be joining IAAS. IAS, one of the best services. So Indian Audit and Account Service officers report to him. They cannot be transferred by the central government. They are under his command. He is the head of Indian Audit and Account Service. So neither you can threaten him, nor you can threaten his officers. He is removed in the manner similar to that of Supreme Court judge. So removing a Supreme Court judge is almost impossible. You have Judges Inquiries Act 1968. So the point is, he has been given independence of tenure. He will audit the account of central government and state government. Nobody can do anything to him. He has been given complete security of tenure. So this also promotes constitutionalism. For example, tomorrow there was a lathi charge. Unnecessarily, just giving a hypothetical example. Yesterday there was a lathi charge unnecessarily and few people were injured. Now it is the duty of press to report that. So a free press also promotes constitutionalism. A free press also promotes constitutionalism. How UPSC traps you? I have given these examples. For example, UPSC, and then you say ki thoda sa se. There are many thoda sa se that we will specifically address. Okay, that is what is this particular thing. For example, these days they are asking these kind of questions. See, they have already exhausted the questions that are conventional in nature. So if they are asking questions from polity, fundamental rights, DPSP, and then you have fundamental duties, union, executive, legislature, and then you have judiciary. So largely they are asking questions from governance. They want to trap those students who are reading newspapers. Undoubtedly, there are few questions which they are moving outside the defined mandate, because prelims syllabus they have not defined. Indian Constitution, political system, Panchayati Raj, rights issue, etc. Most dangerous term. Getting my point? So the point is, so they have not defined the syllabus. So if you read newspaper, the syllabus, I kept repeating in the class that 76 will be the cutoff, and their cutoff was 75 point something. So the point is, by and large, UPSC wants those students who have common sense and who read newspapers. That is something which is very important. So reading newspaper throughout the year is very, very important. So two topics we did: constitution and constitutionalism. Now forms of government we'll see. Before that, constitutional morality. What is constitutional morality? God se suniye. In constitutionalism also I have just limited myself. There are hundreds of other things. Okay, but this is a QRM. I don't know that. Okay, so the point is constitutional morality. Constitutional morality kya hai? First, this term was first time used by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji in the Constituent Assembly. Second, two of his speeches are very famous. One speech he gave on 4th November 1948. That speech is called as Draft Constitution. Second speech, which he gave on 25th November 1949. That speech is called as The Grammar of Anarchy. You must have heard about that. So what is constitutional morality? Abhi, last few years, every second day you will see, quite often you will see, not every second day, quite often you will see constitutional morality is being discussed. Kyun? Because so many cases, Supreme Court has exhaustively used the term constitutional morality. For example, what is the acceptance level of the society when it comes to consensual sex between people of the same gender? Consensual sex between people of the same gender पे समाज की क्या राय है? What is the opinion of the society on consensual sex between people of the same gender? They are not agreeable to consensual sex between people of the same gender. समाज accept करता है या नहीं करता है बताइए? The society doesn't accept, but right of sexual autonomy is a part of Article 21. So Supreme Court said it is not the constitutional morality or the fleeting fancies of the time and age, but it is not the social morality or the fleeting fancies of time and age, but it is the constitutional morality that is established in deep postulates of liberty. So Samaj, social morality se nahi, it will be governed by the. So now there is a clash between constitutional morality and social morality. Supreme Court tries to balance, harmonize, else it is given edge to the constitutional morality. So the term constitutional morality was used in Navtej Johar case. Second, Joseph Shine case. Here they have exhausted IPC 497, that adultery was declared as unconstitutional if somebody has consensual sex between wife of someone else, comma, without his permission. Having sexual intercourse with the wife of someone else, comma, without his permission. Now this was challenged in Supreme Court. It means women is a chattel of the husband. Women is the property of the husband. It violates her dignity, Article 21, and principle of equality, Article 14. Supreme Court declared IPC 497 as unconstitutional. Adultery is not an offense in India, it is a ground for divorce. Adultery is not an offense in India, it is a ground for divorce. So having consensual sex, the term that was used without the permission of husband, it means women is the property of the husband. So this was declared as Here Supreme Court said it is the constitutional morality that will prevail, not the social morality. Rule 3B of Kerala Temple Authorization of Entry into Hindu Places of Worship rules said women in the age group 10 to 50 will not enter the Sabrimala temple complex because Lord Ayappa practices celibacy. Is the DT there? So this was again challenged in Supreme Court. Supreme Court said no. There is a the Article 26, there was a clash between Article 26 and 25. Supreme Court said there must be constituted harmony and the women should be allowed to enter because on the grounds of constitutional morality. One more example, then I will come what is constitutional morality. On 4th July 2018, Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India. It is the Keshwananda Bharti of Union Territories. It is if you see a case that is related to Union Territories, the most important case is Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India, 4th July 2018. I'll leave from an article of the Constitution, then I will explain. Article 239 AA Clause 4. Article 239 AA Clause 4 says, if there is a difference of opinion between Lieutenant Governor and Council of Ministers on any matter, किसी भी मुद्दे पे लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर और काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में डिफरेंस होता है ऑन एनी मैटर. व्हाट इज द टर्म यूज्ड इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन? ऑन एनी मैटर. इफ देयर इज, अगर एलजी और काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में डिफरेंस होता है, इफ देयर इज अ डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन बिटवीन लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर ऑफ दिल्ली एंड काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स ऑफ दिल्ली ऑन एनी मैटर, देन द मैटर विल बी रेफर्ड टू द प्रेसिडेंट. Matter president को जाएगा and the LG will act as directed by the president. Else if it is an urgent matter, he can take a decision. Supreme Court said constitutional morality says the term any matter does not mean every matter. There is a scope of difference of opinion on any matter, not on every matter. So constitutional morality क्या है? अब आते हैं. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar spoke about this on 4th November 1948 in his speech called as Draft Constitution. He says, I am attributing this term to George Grote. उन्होंने कहा ये टर्म कॉइन किया है जॉर्ज ग्रोटे ने. अब आगे कहते हैं व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी. 3 लाइन में आई विल एक्सप्लेन एंड देन वी विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक बिकॉज वी हैव लेस टाइम. सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी क्या है? 3 चीजें. फर्स्ट, पैरामाउंट रिस्पेक्ट फॉर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, नॉट ओनली इन लेटर बट ऑल्सो इन स्पिरिट. Respecting the constitution, what is written and what is said but not written. For example, Article 21 तो कहता है no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty except procedure established by law. Article 21 तो सिर्फ कहता है right to life, but within Article 21 you have Article 21 में तो it is written right to life, लेकिन Supreme Court said नहीं, right to life also includes right to speedy trial. Hussain Ara Khatun versus State of Bihar. Right to privacy, case Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Right to die with dignity, common cause versus Union of India. Right to reputation, Kiran Bedi case. Right against sexual harassment, Vishaka guidelines. MC Mehta versus Union of India, right to healthy environment. Sunil Batra case, right to health. So many cases, right to die with dignity, common cause case. So Article 21, right to live with dignity and a dignified existence, Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India. So right to life does not mean right to life, it also includes many other things. Things that are written and things that are unwritten. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar कहते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के जो चीज लिखी गई है, what is written has to be respected, what is not written but meant by the constitution also has to be respected. For example, I give this example. There are two brothers sitting. And for example, I said that tomorrow there will be, I'm just making a hypothetical statement. I said that tomorrow there will be a class at 5. And I left. All of you come at 5 a.m. No. Constitutional morality requires that you know that class is not at 5 a.m. It is at 5 p.m. I said there are 19 questions or 100 questions in a book. I said that, okay, you try to do as far as you can. Let's don't make it a tiresome thing, a cumbersome process. Just try to do whatever you can. You just did one question. So it is not constitutional morality. There are two brothers sitting and father said to younger brother, please fetch me a glass of water. So younger brother is like watching IPL. The elder brother says, Papa, he's very bad. You go and take by yourself. He says, go and take bath. So here the message was given to the younger brother, but it was also a message to the elder brother to fetch a glass of water. Now what is said and what is unsaid should also be respected. Respecting the constitution not only in letter, but also in spirit. Pehla. Second, he says, principled understanding of the constitution while unfolding the work of governance. This is the exact thing, principled understanding of the constitution while unfolding the work of governance. What is government? Government is a set of people who have the authority to. Kya hai government? What is government? Government is a set of people who have the authority to govern. What is governance? Social, economic, political and other decisions that are taken by the government are. So governance is a verb. Governance is a verb. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar कहते हैं, I'll speak in Hindi, then I'll speak in English. सरकार जितने भी काम करेगी, उसमें संविधान के उसूलों का ख्याल रखा जाएगा. Whatever government does, it will keep in mind the principles of the constitution. The principled understanding of the constitution while unfolding the work of governance. Principled understanding. From morning to night, government does millions and zillions of things. All those things must be based through the spirit of the constitution. And the third is the most important thing. Without an iota of doubt, in a country like India, without an iota of doubt, in a country like India, there will be differences. We are such a beautiful country without an iota of doubt. Such a diverse country, the Western scholars cannot even think of an existence where so many communities live together with peace. So undoubtedly there will be conflict. For example, what X community is demanding reservation. For example, just hypothetical case. Why they are demanding reservation? Why they are demanding reservation? There are limited number of seats. Almost IAS ka almost 180 seats are there. That is static. By and large, it keeps changing. But for IAS, it is 180 seats. So we have multiple identities. Sometimes you are segregated, girls hostel, boys hostel. Here the identity is based on sex. Then sometimes all the students belonging to humanities background, all the students belonging to other science background. Here the identity is based on your academic thing. Sometimes you belong to a particular linguistic background and you make friends from the same language background. There is an identity on the basis of language. Sometimes it is ethnicity. Sometimes it is religion. Sometimes it is other thing, class, consciousness. So we all have multiple identities in the society. Whichever identity is at the prime importance, that there is an interplay of identities. So why these communities are protesting for reservation? Kyun protest kar rahe reservation ke liye? They are protesting for reservation because the seats are limited and demands are infinite while the resources are finite. So on the basis of community, they derive an identity and they want more share of the resources of the country on the basis of a caste or ethnic based identity. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, ki theek hai, of course there will be differences. On 25th November 1949, I feel he got a bit emotional. He says, however good a constitution we will make, if the people working on it are bad lot, they will make bad out of it. However bad a constitution we make, if the people working on it are good, they will make good out of it. What is constitutional morality? conflicting aspirations in the society should be solved through constitutional methods rather than unconstitutional methods. Ab gaur se suniye, this is the most important part. He said non-cooperation. What was non-cooperation movement? Okay, so we will not cooperate with the British Crown because it is promoting injustice. So we will boycott all the institutions and all those things. What was civil disobedience movement? 12th March 1930, along with 78 people, Gandhiji started Dandi March. And 6th April 1930, he picked the salt law and broke the salt law that led to civil disobedience. So what is civil disobedience? All those unjust laws are not to be followed. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji said no. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience may have been acceptable when India was not an independent country, but non-cooperation and civil disobedience in independent India will lead to anarchy. And that is why that speech is called as Grammar of Anarchy. For example, Census Act 1948, you must have studied. Census Act 1948, or for that matter, National Register for Indian Citizens, Section 14A of the Citizenship Act 1955. Somebody comes to your place under Section 14A of a Citizenship Act. He says, I want to collect your data for NRIC. You say, no, I don't follow Citizenship Act. I will selectively follow the law. So you cannot promote civil disobedience in an independent India. When the laws were unjust made by Goras, the British, then they were allowed to be violated. Now there. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji said, conflicting aspirations in the society must be solved through constitutional methods rather than resorting to unconstitutional methods, else it will lead to anarchy. You cannot say that, I don't follow Motor Vehicle Act, I will drive my vehicle whenever I feel like. I don't believe in IPC 299, I will murder someone. Getting my point? So the point is, so constitutional morality, if the people of diverse communities live, there will be disputes. But you will solve them through constitutional methods, not through unconstitutional methods. So 1, freedom of speech and expression, write an article. 2, right to assemble peaceably without arms, 19(1)(b), collect people. C, right to form an association, form people. Article 32, go to Supreme Court. Article 226, go to High Court. Article 326, vote the government out of power. So you will adopt constitutional methods, you will not adopt unconstitutional methods. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience are tools of past. They will promote anarchy. They have no place in independent India. So you will take constitutional methods rather than unconstitutional methods. So what are the 3 prime components of constitutional morality? 1, paramount respect for the constitution, not only in letter but also in spirit. Principled understanding of the constitution while unfolding the work of governance, and conflicting aspirations in the society must be solved through constitutional methods rather than adopting to इसीलिए उस speech का नाम पड़ गया. That is why that speech started being called as Grammar of Anarchy. Because in that speech he said कि हो गया, civil disobedience, non-cooperation was good when we were not independent. Now you have a problem with the law, go to Supreme Court. Protest, write an article, collect people, but do not take to violence, because civil disobedience is not allowed in independent India, because now the government is reflective of the democratic spirit. It is a representative government. The British government was not a representative. Why did we fight for independence? First and foremost thing, that the people of India should be given the right of self-determination. So now we see constitution, fundamental law of the land, reflecting the ideology and philosophy of the nation, and it is all other laws are subservient to the constitution. Constitutionalism is limited government, and unlimited government is a threat to डेमोक्रेसी. हर वो चीज जो सरकार की शक्तियों को कम करती है वो प्रमोट करती है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. एवरी सिंगल थिंग दैट लिमिट्स द पावर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, बी इट रूल ऑफ लॉ, बी इट जुडिशियल रिव्यू, बी इट फंडामेंटल राइट्स, बी इट फ्री प्रेस, बी इट ऑफिस ऑफ कंट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल, every such thing promotes constitutionalism. Then we have forms of government. Basically, primarily, we have parliamentary form of government and we have presidential form of government. In India, we have parliamentary form of government. Reason hai, I will only say what Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar ji said in the Constituent Assembly. He gave 2 reasons. First reason, see, in a parliament, in a presidential form of government, once the president gets elected, 20th January every 4th year, the president of Uncle Sam यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स टेक ओथ, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इनॉग्रेशन सेरेमनी। हर 20 जनवरी को 4 साल बाद अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति ओथ लेते हैं। एवरी 4 years later अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट टेक्स ओथ ऑन 20th of January, and again he will take oath on 20th of January. So the president of America takes oath on 20th January. He cannot be removed before the expiry of his term, that is 4 years. Impeachment in more than 220 years, not a single president of America has been successfully impeached. Although there have been attempts, but no one has been successful. So impeachment is a very, very excruciating and a very industrious and a very tedious and almost very tough process. So in a presidential form of government, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji said, once the government gets elected, now he has a tenure of 4 years. 4 साल तक उनको कोई हिला नहीं सकता है. So in a presidential form of government, there is complete stability. Once the president gets elected, he can only be removed by impeachment, and impeachment is such tough a process that it may start, but it will not get it fructify. It will never happen. Now he says that in America, there is a presidential form of government. So presidential form of government offers more stability, but parliamentary form of government offers less stability. There were elections in 1977. Again, there were elections in 1979 end. And Mrs. Gandhi came to power on 14th March 1980. So 2 साल के अंदर election हुआ. There were elections in 1989. Again, elections were held in 91 within 2 years. There were elections in 96. Again, elections were held in 1998 within 2 years. There were elections in 1998. Again, elections were held in 99 within 1 year, 13 months. So the Lok Sabha was dissolved before because nobody was having majority. So in a parliamentary form of government, there is less stability. In a presidential form of government, there is absolute stability. But then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji says that in a presidential form, there is no accountability. In every session of parliament, all the ministers go, question hour, calling attention motion, 0 hour, so this, that, so there is too much of, and Joseph Biden, Hillary Rodham Clinton, George Walker Bush, or anyone, they are not members of American Congress. The American president, Joseph Biden, never goes to the Congress. उनको क्या मतलब है? Hillary Rodham Clinton, whatever she does as a minister, she is not accountable to the Congress. At best, Congress दूसरे तरह से trap करती है. Traps in it, they did not pass bills. Financial lockdown कर देती. So the point is कि otherwise the American Congress cannot do anything to the executive. So in America, there is a presidential form of government that offers absolute stability, but no account. In India, be it Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, he is a member of Rajya Sabha. Nitin Jairam Gadkari, he is a member of Lok Sabha. Narendra Damodar Das Modi ji, he is a member of Lok Sabha. Amit Chand Shah ji, he is a member of Lok Sabha. So all the members of ministers are also members of parliament. So they have to go to the parliament and answer to the questions of the members of parliament in question hour, 0 hour, no confidence motion, calling attention motion, so many. So government is also always kept on toes. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji said, in a parliamentary form of government, there is less stability, but more accountability. In a presidential form of government, there is absolute stability, but no accountability. In a diverse country like India, we will go for parliamentary form of government because we require more accountability rather than stability. One more reason was given by him, that Government of India Act 1935 already introduced provincial autonomy and parliamentary form of government at the state level. Parliamentary form, 1st September 1939, Hitler attacked Poland and all Congress ministries resigned. In 1937, there were provincial governments formed in the state, and Bipin Chandra writes in his book, first time if Indian tasted power during the British regime, it was under Government of India Act 1935. Where elections were held and government were formed in 1937. So already the people of India were familiar with parliamentary form of government at the state level. So we thought, let's continue with it. So we opted for parliamentary form of government over presidential. What are the most important article on parliamentary form of government? Article 75, clause 3. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to House of People. मतलब सरकार में वही रहेगा जिसको लोकसभा में बहुमत है. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to House of People, that is at central level. We have parliamentary form of government at the state level. Article 164 of the Constitution. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the state legislative assembly. So there is parliamentary form of government at the union level and there is a parliamentary form of government at the state level. Article 239 AA. The Council of Ministers of Delhi shall be collectively responsible to the UT legislative assembly. So we have parliamentary form of government at the UT of Delhi. JK Reorganization Act. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to JK Legislative Assembly. UT Act of 1963, the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to Puducherry Legislative Assembly. So what I am trying to bring, dear students, कि we have a parliamentary form of government. We have a parliamentary form of government at अगर UPSC prelims में question पूछती है, if UPSC is asking a question on prelims that there is a parliamentary form of government at the union level as well as at the state level, true or false? There is a parliamentary form of government at the union level as well as at the state level, true or false? It is 200,000% true. We have parliamentary form of government at the union level also and at the state. Just because it is not called parliament, we cannot say that it is not a. So what are the two major features of parliamentary form of government? Pehla, Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. Matlab, whoever has the majority in Lok Sabha will be at the power. And second, the president shall act on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, Article 74 and Article 163 and Article 239AA and UT Act of 1963 Puducherry and JK Reorganization Act 2019. Matlab, in much matters, the president acts on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. So, कितने तरह की mainly governments होती है? Parliamentary and presidential form. Although there are Sri Lanka is there, semi-presidential. Then you have Russia. There are other forms, but primarily I will not honestly not delve into that. Then we'll miss the topic. So we have parliamentary form and we have प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म. दोनों की अपनी खूबियां हैं. पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफर्स ग्रेट अकाउंटेबिलिटी बट लेस स्टेबिलिटी. प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म ऑफर्स ग्रेट स्टेबिलिटी बट लेस अकाउंटेबिलिटी. We opted for more stability but less accountability, and also that the people of India we opted for more accountability but less stability because the people of India were already, and also because the people of India were already familiar with the parliamentary form of government because there were elections at the state. गौर से सुनिए. If Indians during the British period tasted power in real sense for the first time, it was Government of India Act 1935. Bipin Chandra ji writes in his book, that blue book, Bipin Chandra, Aditya Mukherjee, Mridula Mukherjee, Penguin Publication, National that project for freedom struggle. So in that he writes that those people who were freedom fighters, after whom CID was there, the same people became ministers and CID was reporting them. And he also writes that Indians were moving in the secretariat. Matlab, we actually tasted power during the British period under the Government of India Act 1935. Elections were held in 1937. So people in the state, in United States of Bihar also there was a government that was formed. So people in the states were also aware of the parliamentary form of government. So we continued with the tradition of having parliamentary form of government at the central level as well as at the state level. Now, features of Indian Constitution. So this various features of Indian Constitution that we know, matlab this will be discussed. So this can also further be divided ki bhai it is the lengthiest constitution. Why it is the lengthiest constitution? To accommodate diversity. जैसे Article 371A. जैसे Article 3. So for example, you have a beautiful Naga culture. There is a Naga way of life. Okay, so they are beautiful. They have their own culture. Of course, that's a beautiful culture. So Article 371A, no act of parliament related to the customs of Nagas will apply to Nagaland unless the state legislative assembly adopts the same. So an act of parliament related to the custom and life will not apply to Nagaland unless they themselves agree to it. So this is a diversity that is being accepted by the Constitution. Article 371G, no act of parliament related to Mizos will apply to Mizoram if it is related to their culture unless the Mizoram Legislative Assembly approves the same. Yani hamare constitution mein many things have been given to accommodate diversity. So various reasons why Indian Constitution is lengthy. One, too many lawyers were there in the Constituent Assembly. This is all. So the second, it is many of the provisions which are largely not incorporated in other constitutions have also been incorporated in Indian Constitution. This we will discuss. Now we have constitution and constitutionalism. Brilliant topic. Achha, same is repeated. So isme I'll come to that. Nahi, compare. I thought they are asking me to compare. Now, Saudi Arabia may have a constitution but not constitutionalism. There are many countries. For example, tomorrow in North Korea, the dictator decides that we will have a written constitution. We will have a written constitution. So, but constitution will not be supreme. Constitution to hoga, par wo supreme nahi. So it is not prerequisite that there will be a constitution, but constitution. Up, I'll give you a reason. If UPSC asks a question that which of the following are features of democracy, essential features of democracy, then they will trap you by saying, UPSC has asked the question on 10th October 2021 and how they have trapped you, that also I'll say. Only thing between you and me is time. Okay. So the point is कि अब UPSC asked a question that, for example,